Back when I was just a kid and had a Game Boy Advance SP, one of the games that I spent hours playing was The Revenge of Shinobi. This dropped all the way back in 2002, and I remember raging so many times after dying over and over throughout the levels. But since then, I haven't played a Shinobi game in over 20 years. Then I found Shinobi Art of Vengeance. When I saw the trailer for this game, I was like, yo, what is this? And had to get it. And after beating this game, I'm definitely glad I did. Shinobi Art of Vengeance is one of those games that isn't all about the story, and that makes complete sense. So let's talk about the gameplay, and then I'll briefly give my thoughts on the story towards the end. Putting this bluntly, the gameplay is amazing. It's fun and addicting as hell. It reminded me of how it played on the Game Boy Advance, yet everything was modernized for current gen gaming. At its core, it's still that traditional side-scrolling platformer that I grew up loving. But this game is so much more than that. Regarding the platforming, I thought that it was really well done. For a game where platforming is at the forefront of the gameplay, I think it's exactly what it needed to be. It's fun and always offers a variety of different ways to scale the area so that you never get bored. Whether you're running, jumping, climbing, or gliding, getting to the next area is never as simple as it appears. Then when you add in the other enemies and obstacles, you're always facing something new. Now with what I just said about the platforming, you might think that it's perfect, and I'd say it's close, but not quite. The reason I can't say it's perfect is because there are some really toxic areas and levels that require precise platforming to gain the secret items. To be fair, these items are secret for a reason, so having the sections be difficult makes complete sense. However, in my opinion, some of them were just unnecessarily difficult, especially these purple levels that you unlock later on. I did a couple of those and just moved on. You can chalk this up to a skill issue, but there are some areas that could have been adjusted to be a bit better, but that is only a very small percentage of the areas in the entire game. Thrown into each of these levels are a variety of different enemies that can cause some issues. A lot of them are small fry, but sometimes you run into some that can cause some major damage. They can be strong and tanky, with you needing to use an ability to shred their shield so you can get to their normal health bar. The enemies may be standing on the ground or flying in the air, but you're always going to be challenged to some degree. To make things even more difficult, there's these areas where you have these sort of challenge encounters. These battles were actually pretty tough at times, but not for the same reason. Sometimes it would be because of the enemies, other times it could be due to the location. Like you could be killing the enemies easily, but you may end up dying because you keep falling off a ledge or rolling off an area. On the flip side, you could be getting hit with projectiles from enemies that can shoot from afar. Regardless of what the reasoning is, you may find yourself dying a handful of times during these encounters, but if you can successfully get through these fights, the rewards you receive are worth it for sure. Speaking of rewards, you can earn a couple of different things by finishing fights and finding secrets. These could range from money, different ninpo, which is skills and amulets. All of these are useful for making the game easier or giving you an advantage to some degree. Once you get enough of all of these, you'll be able to equip any combination of them to create a Shinobi that fits your unique playstyle. Or what you could do is equip what you need for specific battles, giving you exactly what you need to defeat a certain boss. To get all of this, you have to access the shop that's located within each stage. Here's where you can buy everything that I mentioned. In addition, you can purchase costumes that you can wear during any stage to change up Shinobi's look a bit. In my opinion, saving your money and putting everything into the actual upgrades is your best bet. The fighting moves you can purchase are useful too, but the actual health upgrades are the most important to me. Now a little bit ago I did mention boss fights, and there are plenty of those within this game. These are all really fun. As expected, you fight a boss usually at the end of each stage, and they can be pretty tough at times. What's so good about these is how you have to use all your skills available in order to win. You can't just sit back and spam attack until you win. Sure, you can attack a lot and do some good damage, but if you keep doing that without trying to evade, you're going to die a lot. Watching the boss and understanding his patterns so you can find openings will help you with these fights greatly. What took me by surprise was that there's mid-level bosses in some of the stages too. They're not overly fleshed out, but when they pop up, you'll know it. They're nowhere near as hard as the normal bosses, but still just as fun, and serve as a good "are you paying attention" sort of moment as you're progressing through the stages. Now you might be thinking, okay, so all you do is attack, but there's gotta be more to that, right? And you would be correct. When going through the fights, you have the option to perform a couple of additional power-up moves that are more than just your typical slashes. First off, you have the ninjutsu skills, which are pretty much elemental abilities. These could be fire, water, lightning, among others, but as you unlock these, you'll see what their attacks are and find out what works best for you. During my playthrough, I used the fire ninpo all the time. It's this attack where you can breathe fire in front of you that damages everything and anything standing in your way. I thought this was really good for getting rid of enemy shields so you could start to inflict real damage. In addition, you could upgrade this as well and make the flame bigger so this proved useful as you got further in the game. There's a nice batch of ninpos that you can equip to your face buttons on the controller, so just try some out and you'll find out what you like and don't like to use during the combat. The next would be the executions. As you fight more enemies, you build up an execution execution meter, and when this meter is full, you'd be able to perform executions on the enemies. These executions are absolutely pivotal during the fights. Once you get the ability to perform these executions, you'll learn when to use them to gain an advantage. When using an execution, you'll gain money and health from them, so by doing that, you'll be able to replenish your health at the perfect time. The executions are a move that you'll use time and time again. Now, there is a special type of execution that you can perform once you charge up yet another meter. This is pretty much an ultimate attack which will do massive damage or have another effect that can turn the tide of the fight. I use the giant fire attack, which would inflict massive damage on all enemies on the screen. By holding 2 buttons, you will charge up and then perform one of these attacks. Just like the Nimpos, you can equip one of these special executions and swap them out whenever. Yet another tool for you to use during the battles. To my surprise, there were chase sequences which had you running from fires or some other thing that would be chasing you from a certain angle. I thought these were always done well, as they were thrown into the gameplay at perfect times, adding a little bit of excitement to the normal gameplay loop. I'd be lying if I said I never died on these, because it's easy to miss a jump or get caught by whatever is chasing you. The chases were a nice switch up and up the pace, making things more hectic and frantic overall. What's worth noting are the actual environments the levels take place in. No matter if it's a normal level or one of the traversal stages, the art and scenery is absolutely stunning. The art style the team decided to use is just amazing and allows everything on these levels to pop out on your screen. As you fight these enemies and kill these bosses, the areas just fit in so nicely and add more intensity to what's happening within the story. For a side-scroller game like this, the artist could have just put whatever background they wanted behind the player, but you can see the amount of effort that was put into making each scene visually eye-catching. It really made all the difference. Moving on to the story, it wasn't anything complex, which I think is perfect for a game like this. You play as Joe Musashi, leader of the Oboro clan, as you try to stop any corporation who is led by Lord Ruse. Early on, your clan is destroyed and the village is burned to the ground as you vow to avenge your clan and take down Lord Ruse and the corporation. Over the course of the story, you take down key players within the corporation until you ultimately confront Lord Ruse. As far as the story goes, that's really it. There isn't any jaw-dropping moments, and the story itself isn't very fleshed out, but it didn't really need to be. The story does exactly what it's supposed to do, tell a story about Shinobi and his quest for vengeance as you play through that. There isn't many supporting characters or side NPCs to elevate anything, but again, it wasn't really necessary. If you didn't get it by now, this game's story is not its strong suit, it's just there for the sake of being there. But just like back in the day when I played the Revenge of Shinobi, the story is simple and straight to the point like that game, there to serve as a sort of progression and for a bit of plot to latch onto, nothing more. And I'm completely okay with that. Shinobi Art of Vengeance is an amazing game. The combination of gameplay, graphics, story, and music make this an evolution of the series that was desperately needed. If you like side-scrollers with fast and fluid combat, then you'll love this game for sure. Outside of some annoying platform sections, I didn't have much issues with this game. For those reasons, I'm gonna give this game a 9.5. This game made me feel like a kid all over again. Not having played a Shinobi in literal decades, I wasn't sure how much I would enjoy this game, but man, I had a blast. This game is so much fun to go through, and for the price point of only $30 at the time of recording, there's no reason why you shouldn't give this game a try. And if you're still hesitant, there's a lengthy demo out that you can try for yourself. What did you think about Shinobi Art of Vengeance? Have you played this before, or are you hearing about this for the first time? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to watch one of my other reviews right here.